Hello, and welcome to the next ReeVlog. I am just going for a very quick walk, making a quick vlog this morning. Just took the bin out and I thought I'd take the opportunity whilst I'm outside, get a little bit of light exercise warm up to the day. Today is the day, the running a D&D one-shot day, the test run for a campaign next year day, but it's not just any D&D one-shot. This is the first time I've DM'd in person for 3 years, 4 maybe, something like that. It's the first one-shot I've done in person for even longer. I'm DMing for someone's first ever time playing D&D, and one of the other players, it's their first time playing D&D in real life rather than on the virtual side of things. I also have another friend of mine. I've DM'd for him before. That's fine, I'm not worried about that. But I am concerned that the one who has played online a lot may not like my style of DMing, because from what they've said, their DM style is very different to mine, and also the style of DM that they're used to, very different to me. They're a big fan of Matt Colville, who I don't really care for personally, has some good ideas, but everyone does. Yeah, then I'm very nervous, got that performance anxiety going on. Hopefully it'll go fine. I'm sure they will at least enjoy it to some extent, but what extent is the question. What else? Yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to watch this, and if they do, it won't be till afterwards, so I can tell you about the plot and stuff. It might help me sort it out in my brain. So there's a couple, nobles in a relatively rural village, but still very wealthy. They are more or less city folk who were given this place in the peerage as a reward of sorts. One of them was a soldier, the other one a scholar. Highly magical world. One of them, the scholar, has become immortal. I'm not going that way, that's the way I walk when I go to work, I'll go this way. Yeah, so the scholar has become immortal. They have managed to do this by, can't think of the right word now. Becoming one with, bonding with, pairing with. None of them are quite right, but it's something along those vague lines. Whatever. Something to do with the aspect of light, a fundamental aspect of existence, of the universe, an element, so to speak, the plane of light. They have bonded in some form with the plane of light, therefore are now immortal. Or at least they will exist so long as the plane of light does. If they can be killed, and being killed for them means they will respawn on the plane of light and then can pop back through if they have the power, which they don't, but that's besides the point. They're also a lot harder to kill. Anyone who's seen One Piece, speaking of which, the live action One Piece, it's pretty good, big fan. Shame no Hachi, but whatever. Yeah, so they can reform there. But yeah, if anyone who's seen One Piece, Logias, not in the live action yet, so spoilers, Logias, that is pretty much what they are. Think Kizaru. Not as powerful, but it's like day one of eating his fruit. That's what they are. And then the other one's a soldier. He is seeking to become immortal as well, because obviously they love each other, they don't want to die, they don't want one of them to die and the other one to just like live forever, being sad about it. But he hasn't decided what he wants to do to become immortal, because he cannot also be a person bonded with the plane of light necessarily. It's a lot harder to have a second person bonded to a element or plane than it is one original first person. So the scholar did research and found, oh, plane of light doesn't have anyone bonded to it right now, but I'll do that. It's not an easy task, but they managed to pull it off. Now, there are other planes that don't have anyone bonded to them because it's a pretty tricky thing to do. It requires a fair few resources, a lot of effort to put in, rare materials, knowledge, magic, etc. But they have a lot of time, materials, a reasonable amount of knowledge, and can hire people for the rest of it if they don't have it. So he's just surveying his options. Perhaps he's thinking, I will find a specific plane and wait until the bonded person dies, because when you die and go to that plane, as long as you are on that plane, it doesn't count. You're no longer yourself, you are now an elemental, effectively. You can still take your own form, and you can travel back to the material plane, but it's a lot harder, and you lose a lot of yourself. You kind of become like a machination of the plane, so to speak. I should probably put a spoiler warning in about this, because there's a lot more lore than they're going to realise necessarily, but that's fine. We've got a but yes, as I was blah blah blah, because he doesn't know what flavour of immortality he would like to partake in, he's instead going for practically immortal dragon. Dragons aren't actually immortal in the same sense of if they die, they die. They can die of old age, depending on the type of dragon. Most would not. They just keep on aging, getting bigger. They don't have a prime. Like, there's no, right, I've hit a point in my age cycle where I am now the strongest, fastest, most intelligent I'm going to be, and from here my body and mind are going to deteriorate. They don't have that. Instead, they just keep on getting stronger and faster and smarter. They may stagnate, and they don't necessarily keep getting bigger. They have a peak size, but that does vary dragon to dragon. Some of them may have a peak size of like the size of a car. They are relatively small types of dragon, and that could depend on colour scale. Like, maybe certain blue dragons are prone to be bigger, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't have a blue dragon whose maximum size is car size. It's dependent, in the same way that with people you could have a person grow to 4 foot tall and stop, or you could have someone grow to 8 foot tall. Both cases are rare, but both cases happen. Then, because of that, if he inherits the abilities of dragons to never die of old age, that means as long as he doesn't get killed, he's functionally mortal. Which, you know, is the more classic definition of immortality, etc. Pausing that thought for a moment, someone's done some really cool vandalism. That's like a post from somewhere between those trees. I quite like it. I have no idea what its purpose is for whoever did it, but it's cool. So I approve. Unless they've destroyed something else that was also cool. But honestly, I don't know where it came from. It could potentially be a basketball net thing. Because I know there were some of those over there. But who knows? I know there's a big old mess down there. Don't know what that is. Don't particularly want to go that way. I probably should start heading back to the flat. But yeah, to continue my ramblings, the party starts at the couple's house. Get told, we've got a bunch of stuff all ready for a ritual. We need you to get the last part. That part is a heart of a celestial dragon that has never crossed the plains, because when you cross the plains, the essence is diluted or changed from doing so, usually. And they know where one is. They give out the location to the party. The party have to go there. It's about 3-4 days travel estimated, though if they can get some mounts and stuff, maybe it won't take as long. And then the same on the way back. The party go. They most likely will just leave. I haven't fleshed out a town at all for them, so maybe I'll draw a very sketchy map first thing when I get back, just to make it less of an arsehole if they do ask, to be like, oh, is there a store that I can go to get some supplies, etc. And I'll be like, oh yes, there's old Rogerson's stuff. The shop. I don't know. Yeah, and then they go, they travel, random encounters, yada yada yada. Maybe they'll meet a merchant, maybe they'll meet a keyrin that can give them some minor boons if they impress it. Maybe they will be attacked by bandits or wolves. Perhaps they will find, and this is one that I hope they roll, and I might increase the probability of them rolling it because of that. They might find a heavily wounded vampire that is just in the shadow of a tree. And if it's during daytime they didn't get this encounter, which it probably will be, I don't expect them to travel through the night. They're in the shadow of this tree, but as the sun is passing, the shadow of the tree is moving, and they will be exposed soon. Now, I know that D&D rules, they'll probably be fine, but, you know, I'm gonna make some storytelling out of it, you know, that's the plan. I'm gonna make it possible that they encounter another dragon, not a celestial dragon, just another dragon. That will not be a combat encounter unless they're really dumb. This is a level 2 one-shot, and it's gonna be a big dragon. So I'm using an A4 page as my standard battle map. And then I have another bigger battle map that at the end, the last encounter, well, probably the last encounter, because there is an optional boss fight as well. The other dragon is probably going to take up just over half the A4 page. So if they make that into a combat encounter, then more fool them. It's going to be a shadow dragon, I think. Anyway, they travel, random encounters, they get to an inn that they've been told about, that's where they've got to aim for, and then once they get there, they head a certain direction. I think it was like northeast, or east-northeast, something like that. Head that way to continue on their way towards where the celestial dragon is. No, they've been told, very young, should be fine. They can bring the whole dragon if they want, and then the heart will be extracted. Or they kill and take the heart. Do not destroy the heart, otherwise they will fail the mission, they will not get any reward. So, they encounter it, and it is going to be, major spoiler warning, a baby. Like an actual baby dragon. The miniature is smaller than a human miniature. Most baby dragons, I imagine, will actually be a little bigger than like a dog, but it's a dog-sized miniature. And it's been there for a couple days, a week, 2 maybe, something like that. This beast. Celestial dragons are going to be like top-tier dragons. Maybe not the top-tier, but a top dragon. And even though it's only like a couple of weeks old, probably, something like that, a month or 2 maybe, it's going to have been hunting deer. There's going to be like a bear corpse just on the floor near the cave mouth where it lives, which will indicate it is very dangerous, because it is, before a challenge rating 2 party anyway, because I'm thinking, if I remember correctly, a black bear is CR half, so yeah, a CR2 boss monster should pretty easily be able to take out a CR half bear. And then we also would have like a bunch of other skeletons on the ground, maybe even a couple people. It is a celestial entity. It has no parent figures to teach it, and if anyone came, like poachers or something, it's territorial, it will protect its territory, especially if they try to attack it. And so it's going to be this teeny tiny little miniature that I bought specifically for this, and they're going to see it. Who knows? They'll probably go up to it and be like, "Hey, little buddy, do you want to come with us?" But they might just be like, "Okay, dangerous. There's a bear skeleton. Bears are pretty tough. This looks fine. Doesn't look injured at all. It's not very old. So either it heals super quickly or it wasn't damaged at all by the bear." So, damage, ambush, that sort of thing. Passive perception isn't super high, so in theory they could pull off a pretty good ambush. However, as soon as it is under threat, it has a inherent ability of celestial dragons, up to and including ancient dragons, to increase their category by 1. So from baby you go to like wormling, wormling to young, young to adult, adult to ancient, ancient to like legendary, mythical, whatever. I have not got that far in my planning yet. But this baby dragon's gonna buff itself. This is a concentration effect. For now, I might remove that, but concentration effect, and it can be used, probably proficiency bonus, minimum of 1 per long rest. Maybe I might do it something inverse, so the younger they are, the more they can use it, because the bigger they are, the bigger they get. I don't know, but I don't need to worry about that for today. So it's going to be like, BOW! Buff itself. And then I'm going to get out a much bigger mini, and pop that down, and they're like, oh crap. Yeah, then they're going to have the actual boss fight. From there, we will then move into fight time proper. They'll be there doing what they can. Hopefully they'll win, especially because these are the characters they want to use in the real campaign eventually. So we have that, then go forward, beat it, harvest the heart, as they are harvesting the heart, there will be a bunch of guards from the tavern, because it is a tavern and barracks, so the people who live there are Spellblade mercenary guard people. They kind of use it as a bit of a recruiting ground, as well as they protect the tavern. The tavern provides them food and drink in exchange. So if there's any bar fights in that tavern, they get broken up very quickly. But because of that, they don't really venture out very much unless a whole group of them get hired. They are very expensive, especially considering they're not actually super powerful. They're probably the equivalent of level 1 for the most part. And then they do have a few, like their own adventuring party, which is probably going to be like paladins mostly, but arcane rather than divine, that will be venturing about doing stuff. And they will be at varying levels. They're going to have a few parties, which will be their superior officers, and then there'll be a few of those around the town most of the time, just to order everyone else around, keep them in check, make sure that there's no mischief done under their banner. And they will be what's the word? How have I forgotten it? Yes, they will escort the party and heal anyone who is injured a little bit, not all the way, necessarily, unless they roll really well. Yeah, they'll escort the party back to the town as a gesture of goodwill for banishing the beast from the woods. This will lead them to no random encounters of significance on the road. They might still bump into a merchant or something, but the escort will frighten off most everyone else, because there's going to be like probably 9 Spellblades. The dragon might show up on the way back. That'd be hilarious, because they'd be like, oh god, was that not the boss? Because this dragon is bigger than the other mini. But even then, I think the dragon is going to, the second dragon is going to be like, if they do battle it, it will fight them, but not very seriously, and then just leave. If they put up a good fight, then he might be like, oh cool, here's a map or something to some treasure. Because he's a good guy, you know? Good chow. Yeah. Then they get back. The optional boss fight, not the other dragon, no, is the quest givers. They might find out that they get told their reward will be an item from the vault, 1 each, and some gold. But it's a vault. They could just take everything in the vault if they want to. And then, you know, sure, one of them might be a light elemental in the making, but the other one's just a guy. He's a soldier, yeah, but he's just a guy. They fought a dragon to get here. You never know, they could be murder hobos. So, optional boss fight, which they will almost definitely lose and be forced to retreat. But the soldier guy, he's going to be probably like bandit chief or something like that as stat block. I can't remember what I did use. I've got it written down. This was meant to be a short walk and it's 25 minutes later nearly. Wow. But yeah, bandit chief or something like that. He'll be their main opponent, because the other one is preparing and undertaking the ritual, so that when they finish it, it will work on bandit chief. Bandit chief will, because of this, have to stay in the room and have various things on him, which if people want to do cold shots, they can, to attempt to damage or remove those things, which will make the ritual either take longer or fail. If they remove them all, it fails. Each one they remove will probably be like, they get an extra turn. So if one person on their turn removes it, that means the other 2 people get their actions to do other stuff, which can be trying to remove more of them. And I'll probably say it's gonna be like 7. It's a good magic number. Have like 7 of those. I'll think of that if they do the boss fight. But who knows? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I'm quite excited though. The issue is voices. I've got rough ideas for character voices, but I've not had to do any, and I've not had any time to practice really. I live with one of the players, which makes it hard, because I want it all to be a surprise. And chronic fatigue makes practicing also quite difficult. But whatever. Anyway, I'm nearly home now, so I'm going to stop this, go and continue to actually prepare for the day ahead. Wish me luck, even though by the time anyone sees this it will have already happened, or be in process. I'll catch you cats on the flip-flop. Goodbye.